Hi, this is a quick video on enterprise procurement workflow on Focus9 platform. Well, the process lifecycle starts with the PR, purchase request or a material requisition, followed by an approval by email or a PR approval by email or on a mobile. Subsequently, you have approved PRs, procurement team getting into action and creating or raising the request for quotation to suppliers. Now, the suppliers could be listed suppliers or open to all, basically. Then followed by the next step, which is when the suppliers respond to the business with various quote details, right from pricing to discount to freight terms or to freight or payment terms. All those are getting updated at the quotation stage, which is purchase quotation stage. Subsequently, the next step, which is the analysis part, which is the decision making part, and to make it convenient and more user friendly, the platform provides a single page visibility of all the quotations in a single page, wherein you can have the quotation details along with the pricing and discount terms and payment terms listed in the single page, and possibly makes it convenient to the decision makers or to the procurement team to decide easily, while keeping the export function to keep the visibility as well as the transparency of the decision. So once the procurement team, based on their due diligence, they decide a particular vendor or a particular quotation, they make a selection process or they select a particular quotation and raise a PO. So at that point of time, it can possibly go for an approval again to the general manager or to the director. And once that is being approved, it can be sent as an email to the selected supplier. So in order to demonstrate this, I would be using the user by name Jacob, and the next approver is possibly John, who's possibly having an access restriction in such a way that he's not willing to access the platform on the web. Instead, he wants to on email approval. That is what I'm going to demonstrate. So while the flexibility is available to be used, the platform to be used on mobile also. So let's hop on to the platform. So here is the platform. You can see this can be accessed on the cloud or based on the engagement we have. So let me log in as Jacob. Let me do a duplicate copy also. So when Jacob logs into the platform, he can possibly have his own individual alerts or dashlets, for instance. One of them could be a purchases by department, another could be purchases by of top 5 products, etc. And an important dashlet could be open status or the closed status of the PRs, which has been initiated by Jacob and his team or his department. So this can give you a brief outline over here as a report form. Closed, linked, which means open and closed PRs. So these dashlets can be configured based on the users or the requirements of the users, and depending on the profile or the role of the user, they can be configured. So moving on, this is the platform, the view of the platform, wherein you can see on the left-hand side panel the submenus or main menus and the submenus. Like for example, you can log into the inventory, you can see procurement, etc. You can see transaction, submenus, etc. Or the user experience is quite seamless in such a way that you can directly search from here by, let's say, the first step in our process being material requisition. Let's say I'll just type material requisition here. So I'll get material requisition instead of navigating from these submenus. So here is the material requisition landing page. I can see there are 2 PRs which are available and both of them are authorized or approved. Let me make a new one. So this is the look and feel of the transaction screen. Then you can see a document numbering sequence is being defined by department. The moment I select 100, it appends to the document number. Similarly, if I select 200, it changes to 200. This could be useful if I want to create department-based PRs and we would want to have them uniquely identified or distinct identifications. So I'm just selecting PO requested by this particular user. These are the text fields, header, remark, narration, etc. And another important aspect is group based or category based item selection, which means that if I select 100 procurement stock item, it should list only items which are under that particular group or under that category only. Similarly, when I select procurement non-stock items, likewise, it should filter the selection based on that particular group only. So likewise, I'm selecting 100 and I'm selecting that particular item which is part of this group. So this is, let's say, 50 pieces I'm making a request for. Another item I'm selecting for is also from the same group. So let's say select binder clip for 25 pieces. Now at this point of time, if all good to go, Jacob can save the PR or the requisition. So at this point of time, you can have a look at the authorization statuses. So authorization status is pending with the details being shown here. Pending, created by Jacob basically. And next authorization user is John. So this is how it is. I've just got the mail because I've configured the email, my email ID as John's email ID. So let me log in as John, or rather do the approval from the email itself. So this is the email view of John for that particular PR or the requisition, request for authorization. This is the details like 100 PR number so and so. I've selected 50 pieces. I've selected, or rather, I've requested for 25 pieces, etc. And this is the username who has requested. So this can be configured. This can be customized depending on the business requirement. So at this point of time, John, instead of logging onto the platform, wants to do the approval from his email. So he can just click on approve. So it says you have approved the requested document. Now when I go back to the platform, I can possibly see with refresh. Sorry. Okay, I'll just go back again. It will show the status as authorized now. So you can see this is being authorized. So I can move on to the next step, which is procurement team. If a PR is approved now, it will go on to the procurement team, who will now raise request for quotations to various suppliers. So let me log in as the procurement user. So herein I can just directly come here and say raise request for quote. So it will just give me this particular landing page. Over here, I can raise request by item, individual item, to multiple suppliers. So let's say I'm selecting this particular item. We'll click on load. So basically, you can see there are 3 PRs which I have to raise the requisition for. So for now, in this demo, I'll be using this one, which is 50 pieces one, which I have just created number 3, PR number 3 basically. So the moment I click on here, it will list down the listed suppliers for this particular PR or item. So let's say I'm selecting 3 of them and just say raise request for quote. Although I was having 2, I'll not continue with the 2, I'll just keep it 1. So raise request for PR is done, or raise request for quote is done. If the supplier will also get the email if the email ID is being defined in the supplier master. So now let us go to request for quote document to just see the details, how they will be populated on the screen. So here are the requests which have been created just now. 26.5, this is the time which is being created for that particular PR. You can see these details with the requisition number 3 basically. So now the next step as part of the flow, going back to the flow again, just for the sake of review. So initiator, approval part is done, raise RFQ is done. Now the next step is convert the RFQ to quotation and update the pricing details onto the platform. So to do that, you will possibly go to request for quote. And let's say I would want to convert number 4, which is, if you remember, I have selected Amazon, Focus Software, and MAM, 3 suppliers. So I'll just click on the RFQ, then extreme right, we have convert to purchase quotation. So I'll click on here. So upon receiving the quotation from the supplier, let's say they have quoted $6 for this particular part number. You can have the description column also, it's missing here. Or any discount details. Let's say I want to put $5 as discount or 5% as discount, and then the discount value is coming based on the overall discount. So Amazon is giving this discount, and this is the rate for this particular item. So let me just save this purchase quotation. So the next thing is I go back in the purchase quotation. The other 2 PRs also I will update, or the request I'll also update. This is for, I'll keep it 7.5, and for the discount I'll keep it 2% only. So likewise, the rest of the details are populated. Then the third supplier, I'll click on pending request for quote. This is the third one, which is Focus Software, for example. So here I'll keep it 3.5 for instance, and let's say no discount, or rather 4.5 for example, and no discount. So like that, I can save all the 3 quotations. You can have additional details of delivery terms, payment terms, etc. also. Those are all customizations that can come in play depending on the requirement. So now with this login only, with the procurement login only, I'm trying to do a quotation analysis, which is the next step of selecting the best supplier for that particular request. So we click on quotation analysis, and from here you have a drop list of open purchase requisitions. It will not show all of them, it will show only open, which is pending for the analysis. So here, these are the definitions. Let's say I'll just select from, you can do the selections from here, current month, as on date, current year, etc. So for now, I'm just using date range, and then I can just say okay. So the moment you click on it, you will be able to see information specific to that particular item. Because it was one single item, we have used one single item, it is listing down all the supplier details individually and in a particular manner, which is giving a single page or one page visibility of all the supplier information. So you can see Focus Software has quoted for HP cartridge for 50 pieces, quantity to order, unit price is 4.5, total price is 225. There was no discount by Focus Software. Subsequently, the next least quote is possibly of Amazon, which is $6, and there was a discount of 15%, and it takes up to 2280, for example. And the third one is the highest one. I mean, it can be arranged in this way, and it is giving a details like this. So at this point of time, price-wise, this is the cheapest, but possibly based on the definitions or based on the requirements, I would want to order or I would want to select this particular supplier. So you can just click on this, and by the way, this can be exported to Excel so that there is a transparency aspect, or the decision-making transparency aspect is also being mitigated. So those who are not on board for the purchase team, why it has been selected, or why this vendor has been preferred against other vendors. All those clarifications can be addressed easily, while it can be printed also. So at this point of time, the procurement team decides to raise a PO. So just select here and say raise PO with an approved remark, raising PO based on unanimous decision on the time some justification, which can be part and parcel of the email communication to the internal team members also. So at this point of time, a PO is can be erased also. Sorry. It was unselected. That is the reason it was not posted initially. So I'm just now this is posted to enterprise purchase order. So likewise, the PO is now posted. So when I go back to purchase orders, so sorry, enterprise purchase orders. There is another flow for standard also. So here is a purchase order. You can see this is the purchase order which has been posted to Amazon for this value. Okay. So this basically completes the enterprise procurement workflow, followed by the GIT part, or the goods receiving part, as well as the other part which is already been discussed in the previous videos, inward and pending PO 3-way matching. I think this has already been cleared in the previous video. So that's it. Thank you.